Hey everybody, Matt Loede along with Steve Diamtto here, NEO Sports Insiders. We are at First Energy Stadium where the Browns lost to the Arizona Cardinals 34-20 this afternoon. And Steve, still so much drama. There's so many things to talk about. Let's first go with the basics, which is this afternoon's ball game. Browns had a 20-7 lead at one point. It looked like things were going their way. They were getting turnovers. Offensively, Josh McCown looked really good with 3 touchdowns in the first half. Where do you think it went wrong for this team today?
Well, there's a lot of weird things happen in this game. I think first and foremost you can start with Josh McCown and his injury. It was very obvious that he was hurting, whether it was re-injuring that shoulder or hurting his ribs. In the second half, every single play, he was bent over in obvious pain, and at one point he actually, with Manziel kind of coming onto the field, was waving the coaches and Manziel off to keep playing. Whether or not that would have meant anything as the Cardinals were coming back, who knows? But, I mean, when your quarterback can hardly even make it down the field, that doesn't bode very well for you.
No, definitely not.
And with the 20-10 lead at the half, they just collapsed in the second half.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, they came out of halftime with, guns blazing. They scored 2 consecutive touchdowns on their first 2 possessions, and Michael Floyd on
Joe Hayden. Yep.
Burned Joe Hayden, and unfortunately in that play Hayden had a concussion.
Right.
He got banged up on that play, and actually on the next offensive play that the Cardinals had, Dante Whitner goes out with a concussion.
Right.
So within the first 2 series, the Browns are out 2 of their best secondary players, and then the Cardinals are already back in the lead. And from there, it just kind of spiraled out of control, and it was just sort of over at that point. Because even with the 4-point lead that the Cardinals had, it felt like 3 scores.
Yeah, it might as well have been. All right, let's talk about Josh McCown. As Steve alluded to, rib injury. They kind of, Mary Kay Cabot asked him about it after the game, and Josh kind of confirmed that it's a rib injury. The shoulder's got to be bothering him. Steve, does this guy start on Thursday? I mean, obviously they've got the short week with the Bengals, a very good Bengals team who are now 7-0, first time in franchise history after beating Pittsburgh 16-10. Do you give Josh McCown a chance to sit and rest, or do you just keep rolling him out there? Because it appears to me, Steve, that Mike Pettine has no confidence right now in Johnny Manziel.
I was going to say the same thing. It's obvious that Pettine and McCown they both have no confidence whatsoever in Manziel, because if there was any inkling that McCown was hurt, which there absolutely was, he would have put the backup in immediately. If it was Austin Davis, if he had been active, he would have been playing. There's no doubt. And I just think that the organization, maybe just from the coaches and the players, have no faith whatsoever in Manziel, and that's why he wasn't playing. I think it would be a worst-case scenario. McCown's arm would have to fall off for Manziel to start that game. If he's okay, to this point at least, to this level, that he can stand up on his 2 feet, he's going to start that game. I think Manziel definitely plays in that game, because McCown's not going to be long for that game with the way that he is right now and the few days of rest that he has. So, I mean, you're going to see Manziel. I just don't know if you're going to see him start the game.
All right, let's talk quickly about the trade rumors. If you haven't been on Planet Mars, you heard early this morning, Paul Kruger, Barkevius Mingo, Joe Thomas, Alex Mack, all these guys, according to various reports, are on the trade block for the Cleveland Browns. This season's already over. It's 2-6. They're not going anywhere fast. What about these trade rumors? Paul Kruger denied it after the game. Mike Pettine said fictitious trade block or whatever he said. He said the word fictitious in there. What do you make of the trade rumors? Do the Browns do anything before the 4 o'clock deadline?
You might as well. I mean, why not? You rarely hear about teams cleaning house like that during a season through trades. But the Browns have tried everything else in their tenure since '99. You might have to.
Nothing's worked, right?
Nothing's worked. You might have to. Joe Thomas being on your team has done you, as good as he is, it's not doing you any favors. What they need to do is they need to stockpile as many picks as they can get and essentially treat this like it's an expansion level team and just completely rebuild the team. I like Joe Thomas a lot. He's actually getting up there in age. He's got the contract. You might be better off starting somewhere else and putting him in another spot and letting him go somewhere where he can, make the playoffs. So it's not a bad idea to trade, some of your best pieces, which are, Mack and Thomas for the most part. And just, you got to go somewhere. You got to start over. And
this team isn't running the ball anyway, and their pass blocking hasn't been that great. So it's not like that this offensive line is the Great Wall of Dallas from the 90s with guys like Mark Stepnoski and all those types of guys that were so good. This offensive line is not really all that good anyway. So again, he's Steve Diamtto. I'm Matt Loede. We are at First Energy Stadium. Browns and Bengals on Thursday night. NFL Network only. CBS said we don't want anything to do with this game. No, actually, that's it for the NFL Network. They will take over all the Thursday games the rest of the here on out. Again, NEO Sports Insiders. Check us out all week. Great stuff coming up. Photo galleries, videos from today's game, and all kinds of great opinion columns. Matt Loede, Steve Diamtto, NEO Sports Insiders. Have a good one.